What if we could predict the future inside a pocket option and make more money? That's what we're going to be talking about right on this video. If you look at the chart, you'll notice that the price responds to the same area over and over again. And if we catch it at the right spot, we can enter a trade and make more profits. Let me show you how this works. There's something called support and resistance. In order to see these areas, it makes it much easier if we use some of the drawing tools inside a pocket option. So up here at the artwork menu, you're going to have several drawing tools to choose from. We have the horizontal tool, the vertical tool, we have a Fibonacci retracement. But the one right here that says rectangle, this is the one that I recommend for identifying these zones. So let's go ahead and select that. And once you do, you're going to see a rectangle appear on the chart. Now you're going to have these little handles on the corners of this rectangle. Go ahead and click on those and you can resize this shape. Next, just click on the edge of the shape and you can drag this around and you can position this anywhere that you want. And just so happens, if you look on the chart, and I'm going to position this right at the top of the price here, I'm going to extend this out, and you can see, if you look closely, how the price is responding to the exact same area. Look at that. The price broke down, it had a retest, it broke down again, but it returned back to the same area. And it has done this again, and again. And it's starting to do it right now. If we can identify these areas on the chart, we can take trades inside of these zones. So normally we would call this resistance, right? Resistance at the top, kind of like a ceiling. And then support would be the bottom down here. If I create this rectangle shape down at the bottom of this price, look at this. This support level or this zone is being respected. And this is more commonly seen when you have sideways price action. But eventually, the price will break out to the upside or the downside. So you really want to be careful about that. There are no 100% guarantees that the price is going to respect or reject off of a support level or a resistance level. So just keep that in mind. These are only estimations and little indicators that we can use throughout our trading. As a matter of fact, there are some people that trade inside a pocket option. They only primarily use this as a strategy, and that's it. And you can do the same thing. You can also have more than one tool on the chart or more than one shape. So I can select the rectangle tool again, and this will create another rectangle. So I'll go ahead and just reposition this on the chart. And there you go. And you don't have to trade. You can wake up in the morning or sit down for a trading session, and you can just spend time marking out your charts without doing any trading. And you can just sit there and watch the price as it respects or rejects these areas. And this is happening right now. Look at this. The price is having a hard time exceeding this level right here, or this zone. You can see it's touched before. It's almost touched here, but it's rejected and it's came back down. It's respected this support area down here, and then it's also continued its way up. But look at that. If you would have entered up here, maybe you would have gotten a profit if you would have taken a short. Now let's just say that it breaks through. What if you enter a trade and the price continues up? Well, then what you do is you look for the next zone. You look for another psychological price or area on the chart. So let's go back here. We can see that the price has touched here 3 times. in this little zone here. Let me grab another rectangle and I'll draw this and just position this over here so you guys can see that. Look right here. And you almost wouldn't see it unless we place this artwork on the chart. But now you can clearly see it. And you can drag this even, further back if you want to. There might be something way back here. Look at that. So you could also extend these rectangles in the past, and you can also see areas where the price has responded to. Look at that. So let's just say you take a short right here, and instead of it coming back down like what you expected it to do, it just continues up. So then what we would do is we would look at taking a short at the next zone, which would be over here. Now this might not be the strongest zone or the strongest resistance area. Maybe it's the next one up here. So then therefore you would target this area as a zone. But we don't have a whole lot of touches right here. I would say to look for 2 or maybe 3 or more touches in one specific area to really consider it a psychological price where, it's just really having a hard time moving past and beyond that area, or to consider it like a resistance or support area. Really want to see 2 or 3 or more touches. And so, but looking back here, you can see a little bit of a rejection or a respect right here. You can see it kind of pull back, but then it eventually broke through. So I wouldn't really consider that a strong enough indicator that we could totally rely on this level. It might be a higher level or maybe up here or something like that. And if, of course, you don't see another level that you want to trade with, then you can simply just change the chart. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's choose a different asset. Now you can use currencies, crypto, commodities, whatever you guys want to do. I'm just used to using currencies and currency pairs. This is happening all the time. There isn't a specific chart. You could almost find this on every single chart, every single asset that you're looking at inside a pocket option. Here we go. Another perfect example. I just stumbled upon this chart. It's not something that I'm cherry picking or something that I had to previously view before I made this video. I just chose we got CHF, JPY. So we got Franc JPY, and this is what it looks like, guys, just like that. Let's grab the rectangle tool. That's the first thing you want to do, and position this where you see the price. If it has visited the same spot, right, more than once, look how many touches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might consider that maybe another touch, but 5. It looks like it tried to come up again, but then look, it eventually broke through, right? But what happens after it breaks through? Usually it comes back and it returns back to that zone. I see this happen all the time. Look at that. So there's something going on here with this zone or with this, the price that's around this area. Sometimes it can be like an even number or something like that. For us, let's see, it's the price is 168. It could be 168.700, which is, there you go. You can see the 168.7. Maybe that's just a psychological area for that specific asset at that specific price. You just don't know. And I don't really look at the prices that often. I just look at the graphics and I try to look at the chart visually to see where that price has been. Now, of course, you can go back in the future. So if we go back a little bit, if we extend this back, you might see a little play coming on here or something going on in the past. It looks like it's kind of it's struggled a little bit around this price. And even we can take this back a little bit further. But some of this price action back here is, it's already happened. And so it's going to be a little bit too far in the past. I would really want to look at something that has happened in more recent time. So something like this. I'll go ahead and extend this out and look at that. We have more touches going on here. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost a 6. We'll consider that a 6. And we've got a touch here on the 7, but it broke through. And then we have an 8, a 9 right here, and a 10. So if the price revisits this area again, do you think it will reject? Well, there's only two things that can really happen. It's either going to be a win or a loss, right? So we just don't know. So what we can do, if you guys would like to take some trades on these areas, let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's try to find a chart. And what I'll do, well, I'll keep the artwork on this specific chart for now. And by the way, guys, if you want to remove all the artwork from all the charts inside of Pocket Option, right up here on the artwork menu, there's an option here that says delete all. And that should remove all of the artwork from all the charts. Now you can just remove the artwork from the current chart, okay, by clicking on current. You can let's just say that you draw a rectangle. You have two rectangles now. So you have one up here. You can come over here and you can click on the little tab that says current. And if you just want to remove one of these rectangles, you can just click on the little trash icon right here. Or you can also edit the colors of these as well by clicking on the little gear icon. But of course, if you simply want to remove all the artwork, you can just click on all and then click on delete all at the bottom. Okay. But I'll go ahead and leave some of these on here. You can easily just click on the trash can icon. There's a little floating menu, a little floating toolbar right here. You can just click on the little trash can right there. So let's choose a different chart. Now, once I show you this, you're going to start to see it everywhere. I've been trading for about 5 years now, and the charts look a lot different today than they did 5 years ago. And the charts haven't changed. I have changed. And I just see things differently. And so are you. The longer you're in this game, you start to develop your skills. You start to program yourself to see different things. It's just going to happen. You're going to get better at this. I promise you that. So let's just move through here and see what's going on. Now, there are some potential opportunities, but I really want to get some nice zones or find some nice zones around support and resistance. That's what we're looking for. Look at this, guys. You see how it's rejected off of this area down here? Let's just go in for $1 and let's just see what happens. We're not going to be using the trade manager today. For those of you that have been following me, I make a lot of videos using the Wealth Warriors Trade Manager. This is a highly advanced trade manager with mathematical calculations that allows you to win even if you have losses. This is very powerful. We're not going to be using this on this video. The main point of this video is to educate you guys and to show you these powerful zones that we have on the chart. These were almost invisible. Unless someone really points them out to you or shows you, you may not even have noticed they were even there. So really, really cool stuff. So it looks like the price is struggling around this area. Look at that, guys. We got about 3 more seconds to go. Looks like it's busting through. That's okay. It's only $1. I'm not worried about it. But you saw how the price has hesitated a little bit. Let's take this a little bit further back and let's see if there's any other areas in the past. Okay, so it'd have to go back really, really far. So it doesn't look like that was a very, very strong zone. but the price could still respect this area because it's been down here before. And look at that. We've got these long wicks at the bottom of these candles. Let's go ahead and enter again. If I get a pullback here, and there are no guarantees, guys. This is really not even the best example. Let's go ahead and choose something else. You know, when you're doing this on the video, when everything's recording live, you know, I'm trying to move through here much more faster than I would if I wasn't recording a video. I would just have more time to find a better setup. But look at this. Wow. So this is a really good example. We've got some really long wicks, but look at this, guys. These are pretty wide zones here. Look at that. So let's try to take some, let's take some trades on this and see if we can get some rejections. And if that ends up being a loss, and by the way, I'm using a 30-second time frame and a 1-minute expiry. If that is a loss, maybe we can move up to the next zone. If we find another area, perhaps maybe something back here. Or what you also can do is change the time frame of the chart from a 30-second down to a 1 minute. Look at that. And let's see if it breaks out. But let me go ahead and position a rectangle. We've got, it doesn't look like that's going to end up in a win, but look at here. Look at right there. We could enter another sell possibly. If I get a little bit of a pullback, I'll enter. But so if we've lost this one, and then we could take another trade at the next level. Look at that. So this is, it's respecting this level really nicely. So we've touched it a few times. We've came up to this level. We've came down. It's pulled back to this level, has continued to the downside and has pulled back again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, almost a 4 here, right? Looks like it tried to come up. And then we've got number 5 over here. Even if it doesn't fully reverse at this zone, it may respect it or reject off of it, come down, and then continue to the upside. And I think that's what's happening right here. I'm not doing any fancy editing, guys. I'm not going to just show you wins. That's not what I do on my channel. I have several videos on my channel that show you how to control or what to do when you have losses. And that's all done using money management. And that's what the Wealth Warriors Trade Manager is for. But for this video, we're just going to play around here. I've got $1 entered in on the amount. And yeah, so look at that. It's just kind of hesitating. It's having a difficult time. And it's either going to go up, it's going to continue up, or it's going to come back down. We just don't know, right? So we could have a breakout. And if we do have a breakout, is there another zone? Is there another hot spot here? You know, I see this area that it's been to before, but we'd really have to come back in the past. It's just not a very good identifiable area that I would want to take a trade on. And sure enough, guys, it has rejected off of this zone. Look at that. Beautiful. So there you go. It's just happening right before our eyes. And we've only created 2 zones. So this one didn't work out. But this one right here looks like it's working out really, really nicely. So that's 1, 2, 3, almost a 4 and a 5 over here. So what can we do? Well, we can just choose a different chart. We're not looking to make a bunch of money here, guys. We're just really looking for these zones. I want to show you this because there's a lot of new traders that do not know anything about this. Now, sometimes you may not see something. And it could be just the time frame. But if you lower or increase the time frame, for example, if we knock this down to 30 seconds, you may find some zones on the 30-second chart. But what you can also do, let me show you something here that's kind of neat. So let's start back up here at the top. So let's just say that you really don't see any zones, or you want to go back in the past a little bit. Here's what you can do. You can start at a higher time frame, such as 5 minutes. Zoom out and look for areas on the chart where that price seems to go, and look at right here. And you almost wouldn't know it unless you draw some artwork on the chart. You almost wouldn't see it. Look at that. So maybe this could be an area. Or you can also, let's draw another rectangle at the bottom. There you go. Looks like it's tried to exceed or drop below this price, but it's struggling to do that. And we can just, we can sit here and wait this out to see what happens. But here's what I wanted to show you. So you can mark out the charts on a higher time frame, and then you can go back to a smaller time frame, and you can see that these rectangles will still be there. So it's the same chart, you've just changed the time frame. That's it. And so these rectangles here they'll remain there unless you delete them over on the artwork menu. Okay, so just wanted to point that out. But look at this. This is really nice. Let's go back to M5, which is the 5-minute chart, and let's see if this will reject. Now this is a pretty high time frame. I might want to, if I was going to take a trade on a 5-minute chart, I would want to have an expiry, maybe 5 minutes or higher, maybe even 10 minutes. So if I'm trading on the 1-minute chart, I would want an expiry of 1 minute. The expiry meaning the trade and the duration of how long I'll be in that trade. Because you want to give it some time to, if we're using support and resistance, you want to give it time to respect a level. It needs to bounce from that level, and it needs to change direction, and you need to give it enough time to move away from your entry so you can make a profit. And look what's happening here, guys. Now let's see if this rejects off of this zone. We're either going to get a very long wick, or it's just going to continue down. And if it does continue down, is there anything below this? Okay, this is when, guys, when you see this, it's usually, it does not mean it's a huge dump in the market. This is just when OTC resets, right? We're using an OTC. An OTC pair is over the counter, right? It's simulated data. It's from the broker. And whether or not they outsource this data from a third party, I don't really know. I'm not really worried about it. But when OTC, when it resets, when it turns over, usually you have this huge gap that's on the screen. So it doesn't really mean that we had a huge dump. It's just OTC, the way it does this all the time. It has done this at 1700. And yeah, so, but let's go ahead and continue, and let's come back down here. So my prediction was either a very long wick, or it's going to continue down with some very large bodied candles and red candles. But look at that, we're getting a huge rejection. So it's almost like a fake out, because each candle represents 5 seconds, because we're on the sorry about that. Each candle represents 5 minutes, because we're on the 5-minute chart. And so this is a lot of buying and selling activity going on during this 5 minutes And so let's just go ahead and wait this out. I don't think it's going to come back down here. I would be very surprised if it does. But it looks like we might have a rejection here, guys. We've got about 14 more seconds to go. I would like to see this push down a little bit more. Let's see what the next candle does. We're working with 5 minutes here. So these are pretty long. Boom. There's the next one, and it's green. Doesn't mean a whole lot for us, but you guys want to enter a trade? Let's go ahead and do that. So for 5-minute chart, what I'll do is let's just change this to 5 minutes. I'll click on M5. I'll go ahead and enter. M5. One of my most favorite cars, BMW M5. For you car enthusiasts out there. I've owned 2 M5s in my life. I had an E39 M5 and an F10 M5. And later I had a BMW X3 competition. I got some software for it. I put some high flow downpipes in it. And I got boot mod, increased it another 100 horsepower. I got about 600 horsepower out of that X3M. So, amazing cars. Now we own a Japanese car. I'm not going to say which brand. It's a good car, but it's not a BMW. It's a big difference. And you kind of have to have both to understand what I'm talking about. So it looks like we did get a rejection there. We're working with a 5-minute chart on the Mark Trades channel. I don't think I've ever done that before because these trades can take time, right? So let's see what it does. You know, it could turn around on us, guys. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be a win. I mean, we have 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on this trade. This could just be a pullback. And it could really be on its way down. So I'm not going to celebrate. And you guys know me, I don't celebrate, you know, especially halfway through the trade. I'm not going to start jumping up and down. And I don't get too excited when I have my wins. If you guys want to join us, we have a group. This is the Wealth Warriors Alliance over here. We have cutting edge tools that you guys can get. And we also have exclusive video training with a bunch of strategies that are proven to work. And we have a group of over 17, now it's over 1,700 members now. We have ongoing member support. We can answer most questions about pocket option. We have a positive environment. And we just have countless examples and testimonials of members that have had so much success. And one of the reasons they're having this success is because they're using tools like the Trade Manager. And we also have other tools like the 30-day compounder, which is really powerful. It allows you to compound your account over several weeks or months. We have a member here that has done that, and they have documented their journey, have taken screenshots of their dashboard inside of Pocket Option. We have members from all walks of life that are a part of the group. And we have members withdrawing money, which I think at the end of the day, that's kind of like the most important part, right? I mean, if you're really not making money with this, then what's the point? So, okay, so we've got a long wick there. Look at that. So that means that we might have a little bit more pressure to the downside. So we may not lose, or we may not win this trade. It's okay. I mean, I'm trading with $1 here, guys. I'm not really worried about it. I have a $1,800 account, but I really want to show you guys the power behind this. I mean, look at this. And unless we really mark up the charts, we're not going to see these areas. They're just not easily identified, and we might just miss it. You know, we go in, we try all these different strategies inside of Pocket Option. Why not look at support and resistance and combine that with your existing strategy, right? Look for those zones. So maybe that will help you So you're creating, like, I guess you could say, another area of confluence, right? Another area of confluence where, okay, well, my personal strategy looks good, but let me check the support and resistance. So you have another area to check. So you're putting two and two together, and sometimes that can give you a better indication whether or not you should enter the trade. So really, really cool stuff. And we have about 3 more seconds to go. And there it is, guys. So yeah, so that was cool. But the main thing I wanted to show you is the power behind these zones. And these are happening everywhere on every chart. But that's it, guys. I wish you all the best of success. If you guys want to jump over and check us out, or even just go over to the website, you guys can see some of the results. You can trade anywhere you want, anywhere in the world. I know it's not always fun to trade alone. I traded alone for many, many years. And it's a very lonely profession, right? It's kind of boring. But if you want to trade with others and see what's working for other people, maybe instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, you can find a strategy that's already working, and you can get the settings for those strategies and apply them yourself. But if you guys want to see what's already working, simply go over to the Wealth Warriors website. I will leave a link for this down below in the description of this video. I wish you all the best of success. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.